Hey everyone, if you don't know how to choose between cool and warm blushes, maybe you end up buying every blush influencers recommend and you own dozens and still none of them truly suit your skin undertone. Today we'll talk about blending the best brushes and why blush often goes wrong. You want to apply flawlessly, but somehow you always end up with that red bruise on the cheeks. Usually that's because the blogger method of blush application doesn't always work for your face proportions. Sometimes it actually works against them, and I'll show you and I'll teach you basic color theory so you can save money and stop buying unnecessary blushes. And we'll go through different blush placement for different face shapes and the alphabet technique and many other trendy methods, plus the most common mistakes and how to fix them. So let's start with the basics. Can you recommend the best blush? That's a complicated question. There are many factors. First, we classify blushes by formula, depending on your skin type. There are many of them: dry powder blushes, hybrid formulas, creamy at first and then start to be matte, liquid blushes, jelly blushes, creamy and balmy textures. Different formulas work better in different seasons, winter or summer, and even depend on the climate you live in. The next question you have to ask yourself: what is the occasion? An event or everyday makeup? For events, I prefer creamy blush set with a powder blush on top. And for everyday makeup, you can use powder or creamy. Depends on your skin type and your preferences. If you have blemishes, balmy textures are fine, but you must set them with a powder. Blemished area absorb product faster than the rest of the skin, which can leave you with the uneven bare patches. The same situation with the pores and oily skin. If you have deep fine lines in the blush area, so forget about shine blushes. They look beautiful on the hand, but unfortunately shimmer enhances every wrinkle on the face. You can still use shiny products, but only very strategically. For example, on a small outer area of the cheek, or exactly on the highest point of the cheek, or maybe on the apple of the cheek. Depends on your bone structure and face shape. The same goes for dry and maybe shiny powdery blushes, which can reflect some light. You can blend and polish the skin endlessly, but sometimes the best solution just to skip glowy blush altogether in that area. Skin undertone. I can just tell you buy this one, and I don't know you, I don't see your skin, and many details matter. For example, darker blush shade work beautifully on medium to medium deep skin tones. Of course I can use them, and I do, but for beginners these shades are much harder to blend. Lighter shades are easier to work with, especially on light to medium skin tones. For very light skin tones like mine, I always go for lighter shades, especially outside of summer. Take your blushes and mix them with the white and black. I use white foundation and black eyeliner pencil, and the light shade is expanding. It creates a plumper, fresher look. A contour shade creates definition and sculpts the cheekbones. And look at this, compared to the original color. Just wow, it's such a huge difference. If you've been tempted by that viral lavender blush but don't know whether to buy it or not, mix it at home first. Take a dusty pink blush or a lipstick, lighten it with the white color and add a touch of purple. You can use whatever you have: foundation, concealer, eyeshadows, or even a pencil. Play with the proportions of each color. And the same goes for warm reddish brown shades. Look, after mixing, I realized that this lipstick gives me almost the exact same result as that blush mix. For light, medium, and deep skin tones, saturation matters, so darker skin tones need more saturated colors. See that difference? This one looks like fire, and the other, mixed with a bit of gray, feels just calmer. Cool undertones lean toward violet, pink, and even like Barbie pink. Warm undertones love fire, orange, peachy shades. Let's move on. If you still don't know how to choose blushes, here's my favorite trick. You already know it from my other videos, so welcome. Use a black and white filter. Look, one blush is almost the same tone as my skin. The other is much darker, agree? That means the blush that matches your skin tone in black and white will always blend more easily. They belong together. Next beauty tip: how to save your summer blush color. By the way, this shade is amazing for olive, warm and even cool skin tones, but only in summer when you have a little bit golden skin. It gives that sun-kissed, slightly burnt skin effect and looks incredible. Sometimes I mix this blush with my liquid foundation, other times with concealer. I play with proportions every time. Beautiful, just holding it next to the face and you can already see how well it suits the features. Less contrast, less saturation, less darkness. And in summer they look fresh and bright if I apply 2 layers. In spring, soft and delicate. In winter, just a touch of sunshine, especially if I mix them with a highlighter, the Charlotte Tilbury Skin Filter. By the way, you can also mix blush with a face moisturizer. I love that hack, especially in summer. They make the blush less pigmented, yes, and less heavyweight. Mix all blushes with a setting spray. I'm a huge fan of these blushes from Clinique, but I want them in a liquid form. The color is insanely beautiful. I don't know, maybe someone will watch this video. Please create these blushes in liquid formula. Another great hack, use lipstick as a blush on its own. Yeah, it's the pretty old hack. The hack which I learned from my grandma. Or mix it with a blurring face primer or any other primer you love. So the result is incredibly soft, smooth, and fills all my pores beautifully. It looks so good. I actually love mixing everything. I mean, my foundation with that blurring face primer, it's non-silicone, it's important. But honestly, choosing the right color isn't the main problem. Almost any color can look natural in the face, like a real flush. The most important thing is where you apply your blush. Placement. Even the most beautiful color, even the most neutral shade can drag your face down. Smile and swipe is not enough, trust me. So let me show you different blush placement for different face shapes. But first we need to talk about tools. Yeah, sponges, fingertips or brushes. How do you choose? Powder or cushioned foundation sponges. Fluffy sponges work best for dry powdery blushes, and silicone or smooth foundation sponges are great for creamy and liquid blushes. Rule number 1. Choose the right size for your cheek. Faces are different. Big, small, different proportions, and I personally keep 2 brushes for work. I've realized I just use only these 2 on almost all my clients, and they are really basics in my makeup kit. A brush that's too big is better for powder or bronzer. Love this one so much. Around the perimeter of the face, it's my favorite thing to create the great definition between dark and light. A brush that's too small can create spots because of pressure and limited blending space. Rule number 2. Brush shape. The brush that looks like a candle is perfect for polishing the skin. Light texture, ideal for building up powder blushes, especially good for baked textures like from Hourglass. The brush that looks like a cat paws has 3 working zones: foundation or contour, blush, powder or highlighter. I love this one. Angled brush has 1 working surface, from the shortest to the longest bristles, and choose them based on what you use most, and hold the brush perpendicular to the skin if we are talking about angled brush. But what really matters is bristles length and density. Compare these two. The first has longer bristles and lower density. The second is denser with the short bristles, so the main difference is the first one much easier for blending powder textures. The second one, it allows stronger payoff and more precise application. The shape is the same, the size is the same, but the bristles are different, and that changes everything. This Tom Ford brush is synthetic. It's very smooth, shiny, and the bristles are straight. The other brush has natural bristles, goat hair, and they are more matte, slightly textured, even a bit curly, like real hair. And natural bristles have cuticles, which help pick up the product and distribute powder evenly. So, synthetic brushes, it's for cream and liquid products. Natural bristles, it's for dry powder blending. That's it. And now my last question for you. 2 brushes, same shape, same size. What's the main difference? I'll show you in action. They look the same, right? Yes, they really are almost identical. Just different brands. That's it. If you can spot the difference, you are very advanced. Okay, mistakes. A very common mistake is applying blush directly from the applicator. 3 dots on the cheek usually mean overload, too much product, too fast. Another mistake, applying powder over foundation and then adding creamy blush. It won't blend. Cream and cream are best friends, not cream and powder. Blending with a brush that has long, loose bristles and high amplitude. Low density doesn't control pigment. Density helps absorb excess product. Shorter bristles give you more control and distribute the blush evenly. Same pressure, less movement, more precise application. Another big mistake is applying blush with too much pressure or blending from the apple to the cheek all the way to the hairline. Look at the result. Uneven blending, huge spread, even into contour area. And here it looks okay, only because I naturally have cheekbone shadow, so it mimics a contour blush, but this won't work on everyone. For example, on a rounded face shape. How to do it correctly? First, apply the blush to the back of your hand, spread it out evenly into a thin layer, take a damp sponge and don't smile unless you want your face to look dragged down later, or maybe if you have an elongated face, it's okay. Gently dab the brush into the skin. Look how beautiful and natural it is. Very smooth gradient. And you can do the same with any sponge. I'm applying it only to the highest point of the cheek. A very common mistake is putting blush on the back of your hand but not spreading it evenly. So then you pick it up in one intense spot instead of evenly across the sponge, and the entire working surface of the sponge needs to be covered evenly. Okay, let's do a second layer. Pretend I'm very tan and have zero blush blindness, okay? By the way, if you get harsh edges, just flip the sponge and blend the edges using the leftover foundation. You can also add a little blush to the forehead, to the outer corner of the eyes, and to the bridge of the nose. Remember this placement. It's the easiest way to adapt any blush color and make it look natural for your face shape. Doesn't matter which face shape you have. But with the wrong technique, you can end up with bare foundation patches and heavy blush build-up near the hairline maybe, or even worse on the center of the face. So let's remove it, and now I'll apply foundation again and show you the difference. One side with one layer of blush and the other side with 2 layers. Powder blush. I'll start with the lightest shade, perfect for pale skin. It's honestly insane to find this level of quality in drugstore brand. And here are swatches of cool toned and warm toned shades. So beautiful. I take a brush and gently pick up the blush. It's very lightweight and powdery, so don't blow on the brush, that's wrong and that's unhygienic. Instead, lightly dab the brush on the back of your hand and then gently just dab it onto the cheek. That's it. Just look at that. On the other side, I do the same, but with a clean brush with the other blush. And yes, this is the important. Clean brushes, clean makeup. Easy process. Just remember these important 3 steps. Clean brushes and you will get the most flawless result. And as I told you before, cool toned or warm toned, both options can work beautifully on all skin undertones when applied correctly. Creamy blushes, balmy texture, must be warmed up on the back of your hand first. Do not apply them directly to the cheek. This balmy texture melts foundation, especially matte foundation. I am not 100% sure about very watery skin tints or face tints, but still, don't do that. And don't drag the product across the skin. No swiping from side to side with a hard pressure. No swirling. Your cheek shouldn't be a mixing palette. Yes, from far away it might look okay, but up closer it's a mess. And if you want to mix products, mix them on your hand. Warm up the blush on the back of your hand and then apply with the fingers. These lightweight balmy textures work beautifully with the warm hands, and I don't start directly on the apple of the cheek. I place it slightly higher and leave space for blending later. Add it to the outer corner of the eyes, the forehead, the lips, the bridge of the nose. And this is a lifting placement. On the other side, I'll show you a boyfriend blush placement. It sits lower, closer to the corner of the lips. It's very refreshing, especially now when everyone is doing only lifted blush placement, right? Color theory becomes really interesting when it comes to blush placement, mostly because it's creative. Mix your blush with a white foundation and you'll get a cleaner, lighter color. You don't need to buy every new blush launch unless you want to, of course. Usually people pick up product like this and the bristles stick together unevenly. That's how you get patchy cheek. Save your time, dab the brush into the back of your hand, remove excess and spread the product evenly. Then go to the face. As we discussed earlier, liquid or creamy texture, it means you need to use sponge or synthetic brush, right? Right. Okay, let's go. Smile, place the dot on the apple of the cheek, and now relax your face. See? The whole cheek drops down and looks tight. That's not what we want. So to leave the face, blend around the initial dot. Use dabbing motions. Hold the brush at 45-degree angle. Stop swirling and don't hold the brush flat against the skin. If you do, you shift the foundation, and that's wrong. I've shown this many times just to make sure you never do it again. Remember my poor left side, okay? And pray for my skin. On the other side, I'll use a lighter shade and apply it only with the warm fingers. Look at that. Now the second layer with a brush. Same motion, same dabbing technique. See the difference? Your lip color can often guide you toward your best blush shade. It's a great hack to find the direction of the color, but not the intensity or depth if you're a beginner. That's why mixing blush with the foundation is such a powerful color adjusting trick. Or how to fix the wrong blush placement, or if you have a rosacea. So if you have redness in that blush area, and just use a concealer with a green or yellow undertone and apply it around the cheek. This slightly neutralizes the redness, and you can also fix and correct blush blending with this way. Green and red cancel each other out when applied properly. For more redness, high level of rosacea, I don't know how to explain it correctly way, just use a more pigmented concealer. And I love this technique because it allows you to keep your natural flush but soften the borders. Look at the result, very gentle but very beautiful. And the favorite part, bloggers blush placement, the fun part. Now let's play 2 saturated blushes, one warm and one cool. Dry powder texture, it means we have to use natural bristles brush, right? I hope you remember that. The blogger finger method, honestly, I'm not sure how practically it really is. It mostly helps you remember general placement. Thumb near the inner corner and index finger under the cheekbone where the teeth meet. Start from the outer cheek, not directly from the apple. It can look nice, but fingers are different, face shapes are different, proportions are different, so it's not universal, you know. I also add blush to the highest point of the forehead and outer corner of the eyes, and just go with the second layer without any fingers around my face. So then I flip the brush and use the clean side and pick up the second shade, warm, bright, saturated. And here comes the fun and confusion a little. Switch hands, repeat on the other side. Sounds easy, right? I know. But honestly, I believe both warm and cool shades can look amazing if you know how to integrate them into your makeup. And actually, I've already explained it many times. One of the strangest texture on the market, jelly blushes. They were a huge trend this summer and they are very easy to use. On clean, moisturized skin, no foundation, just apply and blend with the fingers. Oral foundation works too. Apply, blend immediately with dabbing motions. And you can also pick up the product directly from the jelly stick and press it into the cheeks. It's watery, invisible on the skin, like rubbing a strawberry on the cheek, really, and very thin, no texture, no creamy consistency, nothing. And I love this color, so refreshing, and honestly, it suits everyone, especially in summer. And the final hack, shiny powder blushes. So take a fluffy brush and a shiny powder blush. They are gorgeous if you don't have post-acne in this area and deep wrinkles. Apply it like a highlighter and gently polish the skin. These pigments are very strong, just useless, and forgive me for not removing the previous blush before reapplying foundation. My cheeks are still burning, but this mistake gave us a new tip, right? To calm down over applied blush. I can recommend you take a setting powder and lightly go over the cheeks. Even better if you use a powder with a hint of green or mix it with your blush. And now the color looks softer, less red, more balanced. See that? Sorry, it was not the last hack. I noticed something else. So read the color. Look closely at the color here. See that white base? It works beautifully for light skin tones. On medium to deep skin tones, however, it can look ashy. So white pigment makes a shade clear and brighter, not muted. Sometimes even more vibrant. That's why I personally love these colors. I know I can't make a mistake with them on my skin. So apply this type of blush away from the center of the face. Always leave space for blending and blend immediately. Creamy formulas can set fast, and once they set, you can fix the edges. And just a reminder, creamy texture we use, yes, synthetic brush, that's right. My favorite hack for photo shooting. Baked blushes are one of the easiest way to set foundation, add color, polish the skin. It's a true two-in-one product. If your blush is warm, add the cool tone powder blush lightly on top. This works beautifully on camera, with a flash, and in real life. I use the same synthetic brush here because these blushes are very soft and gentle, not intense, and they are made for polishing the skin and giving that just had that most expensive facial effect. Red blush or even red lipstick, but be careful. Red is very intense, yet it's one of the best color for fresh, healthy look. Stop this video here and try it over the weekend. First placement is baby face, second is model face, and the third one sun-kissed effect. All different, all magical, all work on every face shape. And I always blend blush first and concealer after. You'll love this result. And let's do a quick placement recap while I'm blending from the left side of the screen. For lifting, apply blush higher, almost where you would place highlighter. For an elongated face, apply blush horizontally to visually shorten the face. For cheekbone sculpting, apply blush along the cheekbone only if you have prominent cheekbones, like I do. It softens the natural shadow, no contour needed here. For small lower part of the face, apply blush slightly lower under the contour placement, like boyfriend blush, to add fullness here. Sun-kissed placement works for everyone except very red rosacea here. In that case, choose beige tones, not red or pink, to calm down the color. Very popular in 18s. Blend white toward the temples and cheeks in a C shape. About the alphabet method. It's just a visual guide to understand placement, not an exactly application rule. Always apply blush to the back of your hand first, then go to the face. Always, no exception. And now you know how to apply blush correctly. The technique stays the same, only the visual changes. So you have to do the full makeup and then try to play with different shapes of the blush placement. And the last one, underpainting. This is the final technique I want to show you. I applied bright blush on purpose so you can clearly see the effect. Apply blush on the bare skin, then go over with a foundation using tapping or dabbing motions. This softens everything and creates the most natural finish. Just don't drag the skin. That's it for today. Let me know what you think. Was it useful? And please say thank you to my cheeks today. They are still burning after all of this. If this video helped you, don't forget to like, save, and share it with someone who loves blushes as much as I do. Subscribe for more in-depth makeup techniques, not trends, but real understanding how it works. And see you in the next one. Thank you so much. Bye.